Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Cynthia Arsenault. Stop the violence. That's the resounding call from community members and those raw with grief after 3 killings this past weekend. Former Barb football and track star Anthony Batiste was laid to rest today as religious leaders worked on ways to reach out to the community to promote a culture of peace and love. KPLC's Teresa Schmidt reports.
Hundreds flocked to King's Funeral Home on Highway 14th to pay their respects to Anthony Batiste, shot to death at the young age of 26. Many here, young people who knew Batiste, some of whom went to Barb High with him when he was a football and track star. Following the graveside service, close friends and family gathered at a local church hall. Cousins Crystal and Alicia say such violence must stop.
If the violence don't stop, somebody's always going to die. That's all I have to say. That was my cousin. That was my best friend.
The violence has to stop. You know, we don't want nobody else mourning like we are, because he didn't have to go that way.
Meanwhile, 2 members of local churches were taping messages they plan to put on Facebook and distribute however they can to get community members together to stop the violence. They say a change of culture is what's needed.
When the brokenness of our lives takes over, it ends in tragedy. There's a different story that can be told. We want to tell that different story about what happens when God's love changes us.
And the violence is kind of like a storm. It's a raging wave that comes across from a very terrible place, kind of like a hurricane or whatever the case might be. But there's a bulkhead, there's a levee that we can put in place, and that bulkhead and levee is called love. But building a bulkhead and building a levee is very difficult. You build it one sandbag at a time.
The key to stopping the violence is a transformed culture, that the brokenness that tears so many down and ends so many lives with tears can be transformed. God's power can do that.
They hope others will join their efforts to change those who might resort to violence so that no more young lives are cut short so senselessly. At your service, Teresa Schmidt, KPLC 7 News.
And for more of the message from the religious leaders, log on to kplctv.com and watch the Web Extra. Another